Robbie, you got. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everybody, and Happy New Year for 2024.
Yay. All right, I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners, to approve the December 14th, 2023 regular meeting minutes and January 8th, 2024 organizational meeting minutes.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. You can recess.
Okay, we'll go ahead and recess to the Portage County Board of Commissioners, from the Portage County Board of Commissioners meeting for the public hearing, road vacation.
Okay. All right. My Commissioner Tony Badalamenti is section 5553.045 of the Ohio Revised Code specifics that the Board of Township Trustees may petition the Board of County Commissioners to vacate a township road or portion of the township road as passing as a resolution that requests the vacation of the road and portion and include the description of the general route and term of the road or portion. On November 29, 2023, the Board of Commissioners received a resolution number 2023374 dated November 29, 2023. The request of the road vacation of the township roadway on Morrow Acres in Brimfield Township pursuant to Revised Code 5553.045, recommending to divide the road between neighboring properties, lots 12 and 14. Ohio Revised Code Section 5553.045 calls for the following. The Township Trustees petition the Board of Commissioners to vacate. B, within 30 days of filing that petition, the county engineer shall issue a written report to the Board of Commissioners. Failure of the engineer to provide this report does not affect the Board of Commissioners' actions. C, Board of Commissioners sets a public hearing date. D, the Board of Commissioners notifies the abutting landowners of the request. E, after a public hearing, the Board of Commissioners determines whether or not the vacation would be for the public convenience or welfare. A, under that section. If so, the Board of Commissioners shall adopt a resolution and declare the road or portion of the road vacated. B, and the Board of Commissioners fails to vote on vacation within 60 days of the receipt of the township's resolution, the road shall be deemed vacated. The township trustees must then adopt another resolution describing that the road has been vacated and file the certificate and copy of the board with the Board of Commissioners and the county recorder and the county engineer. The purpose of this hearing is to hear the testimony bearing upon the necessity of the improvement for the public convenience or welfare and offer either for or against the proceeding an improvement of any interest. And right now, I'd like to, anybody that chooses to speak at this time, if you please hold up your right hand and say after me, I do solemnly swear that the testimony that you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I do. You're the only one speaking there? Okay, all right. County engineer, you're up, sir.
Nice. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, so
Would you
We're,
identify yourself, please?
absolutely. My name is Larry Jenkins. I'm the Portage County engineer.
Thank you.
Larry, I'm gonna switch it over.
Sounds great. Thank you. Okay, so as you mentioned, Commissioner, we're here to talk about Morrow Acres subdivision plat and the vacation request that's on the table. You received in your packet as part of my report 3 individual documents. The first document was my summary letter. The second document was a pretty long explanation in words on where our position is of that piece of property. And the third is included the prosecutor's office opinion that you may be able to utilize to move forward on this dedication, okay? So what I would like to do is, if you looked at the documentation, I think a lot can be said, obviously, with pictures instead of words. So I'd like to walk through that second document with you and explain with some historic photos on how we got to where we are. So if you'll let me just walk through that, I'd like to start if I could. Shown on the screen right now is just the 3 documents that we were referring to. Location of the site obviously is presented and brought to us by Brimfield Township trustees. It's on the south side of Brimfield. Getting the mouse to work over here. There we go. Let's see if I can get that same.
Hey, Michelle. Is Sam or someone out there?
Sam is right there.
Yeah. Oh, Sam?
Yeah, it's not working.
His mouse is not.
This game escape on that. There we go. Let me see if I can do that over here with the mouse.
Also, the quicker works too for both these sides.
Alright, let's try that. So I think we're good, Sam. Thanks for your help. Alright, so the location of the site is on the old Theodore Morrow farm. There's Morrow Ditch right there, and it's on the east side of Congress Lake Road and Old Forge Road is where the location of the site is. Let's see if we can get to the next one. Here's a picture of the Morrow Acres plat. This lot was platted in 1960, and it created 14 lots. Those 14 lots had an acreage of 6.6 acres in the 14 lots. And then in the roads, it's 1.033 acres, and that was dedicated road. That is actually the dedication of Old Forge Road right here along here, and not this strip. The next section is this topic that we're talking about today, and that's the reserve for street section. So that actually has been listed on the plat, and subsequently after never been given a county road name. It's never been given a county road number. It has no permanent parcel number, and the only designation for this area is a street reservation. So traditionally what you would see is you would see a plat submitted to the commissioners showing, let's just call it Morrow Road. And the plat would be submitted by the petitioners who want this done, and it would explain everything, and you'd be able to see everything. We didn't receive that, and that's why we need to go through this to explain that it's not straightforward. This is what's called a street reservation, and not what we refer to a lot of times as what's called a paper street. Now, a paper street has a street designation, has a name, it's a number. It just happens to be an unimproved, dedicated, commission-owned piece of property. This was never dedicated, and it's not an actual paper street.
You said this 1960s?
It is,
Okay.
1960. So that's, I just want to bring your attention to that. And then part of the report kind of went through the how this unfolded, and I'd like to just go through that with you so you can kind of see where we are. And that's what's explained here. It's 4 or 5 pages, and if you actually read it, you would need me to actually have some pictures because it's pretty boring. So we're going to go through the quick history of this. This is Morrow Ditch here. This is the farm in 1954. This was the house here, and they decided they wanted to put 14 lots and then add a street reservation so that in future they could make a subdivision out of the remaining properties. Okay. Well, what happened is in 1960 they did just that. This is a photo, say, of 61, and there's some homes already being constructed. But again, the whole entire lot was 50 acres, and that's what this is referencing over here. So we took out the Morrow plat, the 14-lot subdivision, and the green, kind of bluish line there, and that's 6.65 acres. This is the dedicated road that was referenced in the Morrow plat, and that left 42.45 acres of land. What's really important in this whole picture is the ownership of this reserved for street road is all in this remainder. It never was dedicated to the commissioners. It was never dedicated. The ownership of that land stayed with the Theodore Morrow farm, okay? What happened from, before I go there, this was transferred back to, in 1962, the Morrow farm changed to Philip Klein. So now when we go into 62, this is the Klein farm now, when they did the transfer. But what the Klein family did is they then sold off this 2.3 acres right here, okay? And when that happened, you can see that this street section here got landlocked. And it's no longer connected here, but the ownership and the area is still in the deed of this person. So we compare the two. Do you see how it's here at this time? We're going to add this 2.3 acre split to Thomas Lohr, and now we have cut this parcel off. We have cut that street off. So now when I zoom in, this is a 2022 photo. There happened to be another split, and the split just, instead of having this property line go here, it just kind of, this guy sold the rest of this to this gentleman over here. But you can now see, instead of just having the house there, the current photo shows that the road access is completely blocked off. There's now an in-ground swimming pool, there's yard barns, there's everything. But this ownership is kind of still up in the air as belonging to possibly Philip Klein, but the street reservation has never gone away. So once that street reservation is there, it doesn't go away. It's a reserve for street until it no longer is by some action, okay? So we look at the prosecutor's office. When I encountered these issues that we had, and we're saying, hey, this is a street reservation, the ownership possibly could still, the underlying land still possibly could be in the hands of Mr. Klein. after going through a number of options here, we got this back from the prosecutor, and this is included in my letter too. But they are referencing the ability for the commissioners to go ahead and vacate this property if it meets some certain common law principles. And those common law principles are listed here. It can be accomplished under common law with the existence of the intent of the owner to make the dedication, an actual offer from the owner evidenced by an act or such dedication, and then the acceptance of the offer has to be made. So what they have directed us or gave us some direction of is the reserve for road is the intention to dedicate the property, and it's the actual offer to dedicate. The acceptance then could be accomplished by evidence of continuous public use. And when I focused on the continuous public use, I highlighted the electrical lines as one of the options that shows it's a continued public use. So utilizing that, this is an overall oblique image, but I've got circled here where this is the road as it looks today, and there is a power pole right in there that has been installed at some time in the past to provide service to both Lot 14 and Lot 12. So if you were to drive along Old Forge Road right now, this is what you'd see. You're looking at the reserve for street area. You can see back there in the back, this is the approximate property line that goes around this lot. The existing power pole is there, and so that leads me to feel comfortable that we've met the requirements that the prosecutor has directed us. With the existence of the utility pole, I do not, have any objection. We don't see any objection to that explanation that the prosecutor has given me. So in my letter, and this is just kind of finishing up here, but in my letter, I wrote that we reviewed the prosecutor's office, their direction on reserve for streets, common law. The advice is that, that possibly can be something that the commissioners may vacate if you choose to do that. And the county engineer, as a result of that, has no objection to that whole entire process. It is just, unfortunately, not straightforward. I hope you understand.
Yep.
It's, as we look through this whole process, a traditional vacation plat has none of these issues. It's really straightforward.
So that land, that 100 feet is gonna be, I get 50, you get 50? And
By
that's-
the Ohio Revised Code,
Code.
the vacation process says that split proportionally in half to each adjoining property owner.
Okay.
Okay, that's how that goes. So that just leaves me just to what you started to do. Commissioners, any additional questions or anything I can clear up for you?
That seems pretty clear cut and dry to me.
Okay? All
Okay.
right. That's all I have.
Okay.
Thanks,
So
Larry.
that is it.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Is there anybody to speak against the proposal of vacation? If the Board of Commissioners finds such improvements will serve the public convenience and welfare, it shall be resolution enter such findings in the journal and determine the proceed. If the board finds such improvements will not serve the public convenience and welfare, we shall refuse to proceed. In accordance with Ohio Revised Code, section 5553.045D, the Board of Commissioners fails to vote on the vacation within 60 days of the receipt of this township's resolution, the road shall be deemed vacated. The township trustees must then adopt a resolution describing the road has been vacated and file a certified copy with the Board of Commissioners and the county recorder and the county engineer.
All right, we'll reconvene as the Board of Commissioners. I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners approve the request to vacate a reserved street area on Morrow Acres plat 16/44, situated in the township of Brumfield, county of Portage, Ohio.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. Thank you, sir. So vacated.
Thanks for your work on that.
Thank
Thank you.
Absolutely. Can I make one clarification that it would be on the property owner to provide the necessary plat to make this happen, and that's the last component for it to be recorded.
Do
So
we have to,
just-
will you let them know that?
I will, I just wanted to make sure it was on the record that they know that there is a couple additional steps, and they'll have to hire a surveyor and provide the plat, that's all. We'll take care of the review, and they'll take care of the recording.
Okay, very
okay.
good. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry, that was a
Thank you,
lot of
very
work,
good.
thank you.
All right. We have HR.
Tim, come on. Thank you, Chris.
Hello.
Morning. This HR.
Hey.
Is that to block her so you can't see her?
All
Go ahead,
right.
I'm sorry.
All right. In accordance with section 305.30 of the Ohio Revised Code and the Board's Resolution 21-0396, Part 9I, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the County Administrator's approval too. I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Linda Burkett for JFS Intensive Case Manager, Portage County Jobs and Family Services, to be effective as of Monday, December 11th, 2023.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to authorize the 3-day internal posting of the full-time JFS Intensive Case Manager for Portage County Jobs and Family Services with external posting if no internal appointment is made.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Chloe Brewer for social service worker for Portage County Jobs and Family Services effective Friday, January 5th, 2024.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to authorize the 3-day internal posting of the full-time social service worker for the Portage County Jobs and Family Services with external posting if no internal appointment is made.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Hannah Moats for Administrative Assistant, Portage County Solid Waste, to be effective as of Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to authorize the external posting of the full-time administrative assistants for solid waste.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that the board agrees to approve leave without pay for Vanessa Beard as Job and Family Services Department from December 20th, 2023 through December 25th, 2023.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve anniversary step increases for the following non-bargaining employees. Heather Eccleberry, Human Resources. Sylvia Kolsar, JFS. Audrey Riley, JFS. Holly Rhodes, JFS. Carly Spencer, JFS. Mandy Minnick, JFS. Brian Boykin, JFS. Jackie Sadler, Water Resources. Sarah Mutz, Commissioners. Robert Tilden, Maintenance.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay. In accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1, the Board of Commissioners moves into executive session to consider the compensation of a public employee.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
yes.
Tony?
Yes. Everybody could step out for.
Hi, Barb.
Good morning.
Happy New Year, dear.
Happy New Year.
You as well. your life.
Any action?
I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second?
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Any action?
No action.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tammy. Jackie! Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, say good morning Vietnam.
Wasn't there.
Remember that movie?
Didn't do it.
It's like I heard good morning.
Yeah, yep.
Shannon?
Never mind.
Diane?
Out there today. Hey Dan, hey Shannon. Hey Miss Barb. All right.
Okay, so I have 3 discussion items this morning. So the first is an update on the Enterprise Fleet Program. I thought I would just update on what occurred in 2023. So at first, I think we could just go over the fleet size. At this point, we have 143 vehicles among 17 departments. And I could just kind of go through the count. Purchasing has 1, maintenance has 6, microfilm has 1, building department now has 3, dog warden has 4, JFS has 14, the auditor has 2, prosecutor has 8, muni court has 1, probate court has 1, juvenile court has 5, adult probation has 2 vehicles, sheriff has 82, veterans have 3, soil and water has 2, juvenile detention center has 3, and EMA has 5, so that makes up the 143 in the fleet. And aside from that, I thought we could just talk about the benefits of the program.
Yeah.
So Enterprise has quoted that we saved about $231,500 in 2023, and that's basically in 3 different areas. So it was maintenance, acquisition, and the remarketing of the vehicles. So as far as maintenance goes, we saved about $28,000 because of their expert advice and negotiations. They have agents that kind of check in with the people that are doing the maintenance, and they pay attention to service prices, parts prices, and if it makes sense. So that saved us about $28,000. As far as acquisition, we saved about $131,000 because of their relationships with dealers and the prices that they can get for us. And for remarketing, they take the lease back, they're responsible for selling it, and then the equity that we get back for the car. So I think we saved about $71,000 there. So altogether, that adds up to the $231,500 that we saved. In addition to that, there's just the convenience, the fact that we have less downtime with cars, and we have a lot of data to work with about mileage and gas and things like that. So any questions?
No, that's good. That's about what we've been averaging as far as savings, but that's huge considering the size of fleet that we have.
It's a lot, and they help a lot
Yeah.
with just the management of things and maintenance, things that we aren't experts in, they are, so it's helpful.
Okay.
Okay, so discussion number 2 is the Healthy Aging Grant.
Oh, yeah.
So resolution number 12 today is approving the allocations to service providers. So I just kinda wanted to explain, how they kinda came up with that. So JFS met with the Portage Senior 50+ group. They all got together and came to a consensus of how they wanted to break out the allocation. Plus, there are certain guidelines in the grant for what percentages of the money have to go to what types of services. So they decided to break it up among food, transportation, housing services, digital inclusion assistance, adult protective services, and then giving certain allocations to senior centers for what they do. Once they came up with those allocations, then they had a request for application, and then the different service providers applied, and they took what they applied for and fit that into how they decided to allocate the money. That's how they came up with the allocations that they're giving out, which is in, resolution 12, and I can just quickly go over that. So the city of Streetsboro, or the Streetsboro Senior Center, essentially, is receiving $12,000 for fitness, education, and socialization. Community Action Council of Portage County is receiving $110,000 for renter and homeowner-based assistance and home repair assistance. Direction Home of Akron Canton Area Agency on the Aging is receiving $99,804 for digital literacy and internet access. Catholic Charities serving Portage and Stark counties is receiving $80,000 for food assistance and case management for seniors. And then Portage County JFS is getting, and Adult Protective Services is getting $10,000 for emergency supplies and care packages. And then Hope on Wheels, we're allocating $20,000 for their door-to-door transportation services. So that's what's being approved today in the resolution, and that's what you'll see come through in the contracts through DocuSign.
Is Hope on Wheels, is that St. John?
Yeah. And
Is that, the last part of that is, we dedicated 25,000 for that, his program?
well, that was for the housing
Okay,
component.
got it.
This is transportation,
Right.
because transportation is such a big problem in the
That's,
county.
that's what, that's, I wanted to clarify.
So Jackie, so these fundings total the 331,804. So there's
Mhm.
still a balance left of like what? Because I thought we got like 450.
It's about 120,000 remaining.
Okay.
So that's still to be determined, you know, how
Okay.
we'll reallocate that amount.
Okay. Yeah, they're really excited. And they're hoping we approve it today, so we can start the process.
Yeah, we'll start the contract process.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so third discussion item is Sheriff's Office vehicle purchases. So we have originally we had two resolutions in the agenda, and then we have two add-on resolutions, so I just kinda wanted to go over what those are, 'cause there's a little bit of detail in there. So resolution 10, this is purchasing a GMC Terrain. And this purchase, it's $17,500, but the purchase is coming from the Sheriff's Office Drug and Violent Crime Unit funds. And then Resolution 11 is similar, this one is coming from the Sheriff's Office Drug and Violent Crime Unit funds. This is totaling $10,000, it's to pay off a lien of a vehicle that they seized as part of a drug investigation. So those are fairly simple resolutions, 10 and 11, but I just wanted to point out that it's coming from the Drug and Violent Crime Unit funds.
Okay.
Okay, so then the add-on items were resolutions 13 and 14. Resolution 13 is the purchase of two vehicles from Tim Lally Chevrolet. This is two Chevy Tahoes for a total of $97,450. This request is to purchase these vehicles from Portage County General Funds, so it would essentially be a supplemental budget request because there is no budget in their automobiles line, all of their budget is in their lease line. So we put about $670,000 in their lease line, this would be an additional vehicle purchase. And
But it's a purchase, it's not a lease.
right,
Because when I look at their lease line, they have $676,000 that we have in there.
mhm.
So this is additional? Are
This-
these leases or purchases?
These are purchases, straight from the dealer at
Okay.
Tim Lally.
So which are the cars that we're getting rid of,
To trade.
getting rid of the three vehicles that are for the Detectives Bureau? Larry, if you could speak up for any of this that we're asking questions about, if you, Yep.
The Tim Lally deal,
yep,
it can be either a lease or it can be a purchase. If Enterprise wants to go through with a lease on that, that's fine, we could do that. That was one of the things that was brought to, the board's attention last year, and then it was, then it kinda just got,
we'll put it on hold.
it got
Yeah.
put on hold.
Yeah.
Because nothing was, the budget wasn't ready for us, so we
Right.
were trying to figure that out.
But for those two cars, there was gonna be they're gonna be replacing two of the existing cars.
Two of the cars for the Detectives Bureau,
No, these are replacing two
Lolly's
patrol cars.
okay,
Replacing a 2017 Ford
and a 2020 Ford. And the 2020 Ford is high mileage, and it's a hybrid, and it spends more time in the shop than it does on the road.
So, you know I'm slow. So we have the cars for the original ones drug task force is gonna buy. So that's
The ones
we
the
have,
drug
those are
task
those are
force-
done. I have no
those-
problem with that.
Yeah,
So the second want is the two vehicles that you just described
correct.
that will be replacing what?
A 2017 Ford and a 2020 Ford.
And where are those two vehicles dedicated to?
Patrol.
Patrol cars? So we're gonna go from, okay, so those two are patrol.
So I just have a question here. The two VIN numbers that we've got, that you sent us, those were leases. One of them was totaled, but one of them is still an active lease.
Here's the two.
Come sit with us, please.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because there was some discussion about one of them was a lease, and there was a lot of confusion over whether we owned them or whether they were leased. And since then, we've run into problems with a couple other ones, so we just need to get rid of those.
That's where we're at, confusion.
So the 2020 Ford Explorer, I believe this is the active lease that's up in June.
I don't think that's a lease car.
It is in our records.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you
it's-
look at the VIN numbers
Yeah, it's
on
an
our
active
sheets.
lease that we didn't have any record of it being damaged, and I think it's up to be turned in like June or July this year. So, I mean, I don't know, I think we would lose a lot of value on that one, since it's part of the lease program. Like,
Lease
if we would turn it
package,
in,
yeah.
we would get a lot more equity out of it. I mean, what we could do is we could try, if we get vehicles that are not in the lease program that you wanted to trade in, I mean, we could talk to Enterprise and see if the purchase, if they could take the purchase into the lease program, if we could lease them. You know, we could talk about that. Enterprise, I think, would be willing to maybe, buy the cars and make them part of the lease program. We would just have to discuss that with them, but
Well,
Yeah.
here's been some of the problem. The problem is trying to get cars.
Yeah, we all
and-
understand
and
that
trying
for
to
the last
get-
3 years.
Trying
Yeah,
to
and
get
that's-
It's
parts.
everywhere.
It's just,
And-
it's doing nothing but getting
And
worse.
Ford is not making police packages for 2024.
So, I mean, and I get that, and I mean, since I've been here, you guys have had a difficult time getting vehicles. Where it gets confusing when you guys give us VIN numbers, and then we track the VIN numbers, or they're being said what you believe a VIN number is and ours is it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, our
So
records don't match.
we have that, so if there's a feasibility, because I think you're scheduled for like 22 new cars this year through Enterprise,
Mhm.
that if we had to have those, and those are gonna be patrol cars, that, I guess my difficulty is with all this is that you give, I'll say you, because you're here, you give us information, and then we investigate the information doesn't make any sense. So for me, it's very, very difficult, because my other job, if it doesn't make any sense to me, I better not do it, or I better get some other evidence. So I'm having a really hard time when we give us information, and the information, when we look at it, a VIN number, well, that VIN number is supposed to be someplace else, and you guys are saying it's there. So I have, my mother said I had a trust problem, so I still have a trust problem. So
Well,
that,
and not only that, but Larry, a lot of times we don't get the information at all, and it takes a lot of time. You know, they'll say, well, we have this car, and we'll say, well, we need the VIN numbers. You know, I mean, you know the routine, but it doesn't happen. And then my staff, or our staff, waste a lot of time going back and forth with yours. So I think we need to have a detailed process, or maybe a renewal process sent to the sheriff's department on how that works, because it wastes a lot of time, and then it always seems like this is at the 7th hour too, which we don't make decisions on the 7th hour. So then we pull our staff, and and it takes them away from the rest of the county that they're trying to service. So we need to get something in place where we can get the factual information from someone, and I think Harry Muir is your fleet manager, isn't he out there?
Yeah, Harry's
He's
kind of out,
occupied.
he's kind of out of the picture right now.
Oh, his wife's gone, okay. Yeah,
Well,
so,
I appreciate what's being said, but I also appreciate that, you know, just this week we had a patrol car total. And when the sheriff stepped up with Mike Lally at Tim Lally Chevy, they had 2 cars that were purchased for a community that decided not to buy them. So they've been gracious enough to hold them. I don't want to see these guys, you know, walking to calls. We're
I
at a
don't think they
point.
walk that fast.
Yeah.
I think we got
Get 'em a
82
horse.
cars out there.
Get 'em a
They
horse.
might wanna start sharing a car or two, because,
Yeah.
Well, I think that it was something that was brought to our attention, and I respect the man in his position. I'm not trying to micromanage him or run his department.
I don't think anyone is.
See, that's,
We run a budget.
yeah, we, it's micromanaged stuff. It's the least thing that we have.
Yeah.
It's how, so you tell me, Tony, I need this, and then information you give, when we look into it, the information that you gave me was different than reality. Was a car damaged, totaled? Completely agreed. Do they need cars? Absolutely. But if I can't follow a bouncing ball because the information you keep giving me is incorrect, how can you make a decision?
I didn't give it to you.
I'm just, not you, I'm just,
Yeah.
you're playing that, and I was one of the ones that argued for a couple years for them. It was never like this, that it was difficult to follow a bouncing ball. And if you give me information and it's wrong,
So maybe we revisit like the process.
How
so
is
that
it-
we can
Yeah.
all be on the same page and,
so how do we get, you're saying for these 2 vehicles that we're talking about, because the other group or another issue, is that the feasibility of getting those put on our lease program rather than us purchasing it? Because purchasing cars is what we were trying to get away from.
So I think big picture, what we could do is if we find VIN numbers for cars that are old and, you know, could be traded in, and then we have the vehicles that we wanna purchase, and so the trade-in offsets the cost, Enterprise could purchase those for us.
and then
And they
lease
can be
them.
part of the lease program. Like,
How
I think-
difficult is that endeavor you just said?
I
Is
don't
that
think it's,
week, month to do? Is Enterprise, we call up and they're gonna say, hey, that sounds like a great idea.
We could
You
tell
get the
them-
best price and then we'll purchase those
or
cars.
we
and
could
put
even
it-
locate the cars and
Mhm.
call them and say, we have some cars reserved here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
We have a trade-in and work with them, like, here's the trade-in, here are the cars,
'Cause-
help us purchase.
Because like we
them.
mentioned earlier, last year you guys got 18 new Tahoes,
Correct.
and this year you're slated for 22. So they have been better about getting cars,
They're just not, they're
Yeah.
starting to be available.
but
That's all.
yeah.
I have the cars. Would you be able to call Enterprise directly and give them the information?
I believe so.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
Jerry?
So there we go.
And then we could clean up the process and,
Take
you
a
know,
look.
say here's for leasing, here's for purchasing, and dot, dot, dot.
Mhm.
And that would be helpful for the entire county.
Yep.
But for this particular situation, we could reach out to Larry, and because Harry's unavailable, and
Yeah.
maybe we just sit down and meet with you and say, okay, this is what our records look like, what do your records look like, right? And then we could clean up what you need
Yeah.
to declare obsolete, and then what you need to either lease or outright purchase, or where exactly you sit on that. Would that be a good idea?
Well, yeah, because these can be leased because
Sure.
they're part of the patrol side. And, you know, one of them is actually used for civil processing, and the guy's out all day long serving papers.
And you got a good deal, so.
And we got a good deal, and the guy's been holding them since last year, and he could have
Yeah,
sold
that's
them
2
probably
months.
3 times. And,
Yeah.
you know, so we,
I'm for you, and as Mike said, my goal has always been to help the sheriff's department. Unfortunately, the process has gotten to be, I stay confused, and it's hard to support when I'm confused. So,
like I said,
yes, those 2 cars.
When I looked at these 2 cars,
Mhm.
I know that when the chief was talking to you last year about them, I think a couple of the VIN numbers they give you were cars that had already been
Yeah,
been
it
through
was
the
a
process
hot
and all
mess.
that.
Yeah.
So, yes, so when I got this year, I looked at these cars, these two cars need to go, cause one's gonna cost us a fortune in motor work on it, and for a 2017 car, it's not worth it. And the other one is high mileage now, and we're starting to have problems, plus it's a hybrid. So if we can lease those, at least putting those in the lease program would be great.
Yep.
And if Enterprise wanted to reach out to Lally to make that work, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
And we have
Anybody?
a meeting on Tuesday.
Say
so
again?
if we could, the
We have
board
a
meets
meeting
again on
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So we could clean all this up and bring these resolutions back to the board on Tuesday. Is that helpful?
Can you get that
Yeah.
with Lally?
Let's
Yep.
do that.
Okay.
We can meet with Enterprise today.
Yep.
And I have these.
Okay.
Okay. Issue number 3.
And I think that's it, because the resolution 14 is kind of part of this. This is the 3 vehicles that we wanted to get from Sarchione, with 3 that we're trading in. But this was gonna use general funds also. I think this could be a similar situation. We could use the trade-in against the purchase, but have Enterprise contact the dealer
And do we
and
know
make
what
these
we're,
part of
go
the
ahead.
lease.
Here's the thing.
These are
is
add-on cars though,
With
right?
these cars, they're DB cars,
Yeah.
and they last forever. They outlast the lease.
That was, I'm glad you brought that up. So these are for Detectives Bureau. We're gonna have them going from Fusions or cars like that to driving Interceptors?
Yes, only because I can buy these Interceptors cheaper than I bought anything else for the Detective Bureau.
So-
Because of the deal that Chrysler's made available on these cars.
So here comes my issue. Trust. That if I want 3 or 4 more cars in my fleet, and Detective Bureau has got 3 Interceptors doing detective stuff, it's typically not chasing somebody. My distrust is that within a year, they're gonna be someplace else in the fleet and not with the Detectives Bureau.
No, because those guys will scream and yell and.
I know they will, but I know a couple other people that scream louder and they get their way.
I have
Well,
an idea. What if we
Okay.
make the resolution specific to the Detective Bureau? Would you be willing to do that?
that's fine.
But here's the other question those 3, we're gonna add, additional 97,000 to the budget?
84,000.
It would be
Well,
84,
84 minus the trade-in values.
so it would be 96 minus the trade-in value of 12,000. It would be 84,000 with Sarchione.
I thought we don't have the money in the budget for that.
It's right. It's not in the automobiles line for general fund. That's why I was
Do they have it in their budget elsewhere?
in the leases. So that's why I was thinking maybe this could be a similar.
So with the leases,
Thing.
you said there's like 700,000 in the lease line.
There's
690 something, yeah.
676.
So we have that in the lease line. We're getting rid of, we're rotating 22 cars out of that. How much of that 676
It's
will
gonna
that 22 cars rotating out cost us out of the lease line?
Because they're gonna go up every year. The leases that rotate out are gonna go up because the cost of the vehicle.
Yeah,
goes up.
it's gonna go up. I mean, so there was probably 550 to 600,000 spent out of that line last year. So if you're turning in older cars and getting newer cars, probably that difference that we increased it, that'll be.
So there's
That'll be
still
the end
about
result.
100,000 or 120,000 now there's left in that line.
And that's probably how much we projected it would go up with the trade-in.
So then we're done for the year then, technically for what we budgeted. If
For-
we do that, then,
If the program goes as planned, yeah.
Yeah. So we can't start trading cars in
yeah,
on leases that they wanted to do, so we can't
Right.
do that.
yeah.
Okay.
But these 3 were these were bought cars that we bought back in 12.
Yeah, they're old, and I mean, the Detective Bureau's been telling us, since I've been around, that our cars are terrible. And that my trust factor is I've got 3 Interceptors sitting with a detective driving, going house to house or doing whatever the heck detectives do.
You've got.
When you have road guys, I have a problem with that, so I hope it.
You have Interceptors because we can buy those Interceptors for
Understood.
$32,000. and I can't buy anything else for $32,000.
Well, a Ford Fusion nowadays would be less, Larry, you know that. Even with cruise control.
Yeah.
How about Kia Souls?
That's my question, that in a year or two, with things that are going on, that the Detective Bureau still has, and if we do a resolution mandating that those 3 vehicles stay with the Detective Bureau and don't get temporarily used on a regular basis for road patrol. Now, my brain says that's what's gonna happen to these 3 cars, so.
I don't know. I mean, here's the way I look at it. They have a huge fleet compared to what they've ever had. If you've got a car that's been in an accident and they need to rotate throughout the fleet, another car, or have someone share a car until we can replace it, I don't know if I wanna put a restriction like that on. I mean, and how are we gonna oversee it?
You can't.
I mean,
You can't.
so.
Well, and here again, we're not asking to upfit these cars,
Yeah.
so.
So outfit is the lights and
The lights
computers and
computers
cage
and all
in the
that
back.
stuff. Right,
That's another 14,000-15,000, right?
right, so we're not asking to do
To
that.
upfit that,
Okay.
so.
Right. So, you know, it's not a car that we're gonna be able to put back
Or
into
put in the covert operations.
Yeah, it's
You
basically,
know.
it's basically gonna be for the guys to do their surveillance, to do their follow-ups, to be on the road and handle what they do in the investigative division.
Yeah. That's why I say, I mean, I'm all about doing with what you have, with the exception, like I said, if there's an accident and they need to pull another car from somewhere or whatever, maybe in one of the covert operations or whatever, I don't know if I agree with
That's
putting
fine.
a restriction on it.
That was something brought up a little bit ago, and that's fine, and it's just, okay.
I mean,
Anybody else, Mike, you have any questions?
Nope.
Any comments?
do you
Really?
wanna put a restriction on it?
No.
Or
Okay, all right,
Okay,
And like I say, these cars are sitting in Charshone and they're not gonna be there long,
okay.
yeah,
cause he's gonna move them
yeah.
for that money.
And
And,
then,
and
yeah.
you're
Oh, I
saying that
understand.
84,000, we could take out of that 700 line, and we'll still be okay with the 22 lease vehicles we're bringing? In
Well,
your closest estimate, estimate.
well, I think the lease program as it is probably needs that budget, like, because of the trade and everything, I
Mhm.
think the difference in the lease program alone
Mhm.
will probably eat up that difference.
Okay.
So that's why we put that much in the budget. I'm not sure it can afford this level of a purchase, like, for us to transfer it. So
Would we transfer it now, and then, once we do the car, we get the 22 cars that they have, see where we're at? So it doesn't come out of general fund?
well, chances are, I think it would go over budget if we take 84,000 out of that line.
Mhm.
They'll
Yeah,
probably
if
be
we
over budget
purchase
in the
it.
lease line.
It's gonna be a while before we utilize that line, though, is
The
all I'm
whole
saying.
amount.
Right, so can we take that line out of their leases and see if, what we may need to supplement when they do get the cars that they have? Would that,
We
is that
could
reasonable?
supplement in the future.
In the future,
When it probably will.
when
go
it
over.
happens, yep.
Yeah, because we, well, we haven't got, Larry, are you guys started the collective bargaining process? No?
No,
Cause see, that was supposed to be one of the things, is that we were gonna hold the budget, it was the same as last year, and we'd
Right.
revisit it after the first quarter before we did anything with it, just because we were hoping you would have that done, but you guys haven't started yet?
starting in February.
February, okay.
I'd like to move forward with the vote on the 3 cars at Socione, because if we don't do that, we're gonna lose them. And we're gonna,
Well, I think
we're
we have
we're
to
buying
get
cars
some information,
that,
right?
excuse
Go
me?
ahead, Go ahead.
I think we got cars sitting there that we're getting for half the price. These cars are gonna be in the DB for 8, 9, 10 years, as witnessed with these last ones. And I think the bureaucracy of waiting and waiting and waiting, they're gonna be used in the DB,
Well,
so.
you know what?
It's just knowing, being able to follow the bouncing ball,
Sure.
Mike, that's all. And
Yeah.
if it takes this much, our guy, or ladies, 2 days to figure it out, and us to have another half-hour discussion, Lally's not gonna get rid of them today.
No. And
right
we're
now,
meeting
but
next
it's,
Tuesday,
Yeah,
so
I don't
I
know
prefer
about
to wait
that.
Or-
until
I'm not as
you know,
concerned about Lally as I am Shar.
Yeah, I mean, I
Tuesday's fine.
with the explanations we have, I can go forward. You know, I can too. Some of the confusion upsets me, but I think what
Well,
we've just worked out.
But but we haven't worked it out yet. Don't you have to research, Jackie?
Well, I think if we move the 84,000, as we discussed out of the lease line, the leases that'll go over budget is.
Yeah, but that's gonna be
a
down the
concern.
line.
Yeah,
when we do this.
toward the end of the year.
So we're gonna do that one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, if we transfer money out of
Lease.
the lease,
yeah, to pay for that.
it'll be short.
And we
So,
don't know.
and that, but you didn't have to check with them on anything
With
for
enterprise.
the three.
The first three that we were talking about.
The three, right?
The three.
The three are, is that
So
The
Sarchion?
three are
Sarchion.
unmarked Charchon cards,
They're the DB.
Detective.
The detective.
detective
Okay.
cards.
The two at Tim Lally, we have to
Take out of
get
the,
with
okay.
We have to
enterprise
get
on
information.
that.
Okay, that's the ones.
Yeah.
But the three for the DB, do you need to do research on, or do we know we're gonna take it from the lease? I just
Yeah,
wanted to clarify
yeah.
that.
I mean, we're pretty clear on what the VIN numbers are that are being traded in and what the amount is, so
Okay.
it's just the question of where's the budget coming from.
Where's the budget gonna come from?
But if we're transferring from the lease line,
And the lease line is questionable if the 22 leases that we have, if it's gonna eat up all of it, or there's gonna be some left over. So my thought is utilize that right now, and if there's a shortfall, then we can do that or put it in their budget for cars.
yeah, I think there probably will be a shortfall,
Yeah,
just
okay.
because it was
Right.
planned
Yeah,
for
you're,
the
absolutely.
trades.
And then, do we know where we get the shortfall from, or just wait?
I think it would have to be a supplement to the budget. So, yeah, I mean, I do think the leases will be over if we
Okay.
transfer that out.
Okay.
So I would just ask that the department or the office makes it so it's not as difficult, that it takes so much time to figure out and follow what's going on versus, it feels like a cluster all the time.
So the ones that are really urgent, we can't do, because we gotta research. That's the Tim Lally, is that,
No.
or is it Sarchion?
No,
No, it's the other way around.
yeah, it's the other way around.
So
Okay.
I say move forward with those two, those,
Those
Three,
Three.
move forward with the three.
and
Okay.
the other, yeah.
So that's, let's see, resolution 14, and then resolution 13,
We're voting on one,
No, we are, we're holding on.
the Tim Lally.
and we'll bring that back next.
So which one is it?
This one.
The
The
Lally.
add-on.
The
Oh, the
add-on,
add-ons,
yep.
oh.
So you're gonna have the three the Detective Bureau cars and the surveillance or whatever they're
And the-
called.
and the narcotics cars.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna table 13 and do 14.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Jackie. Anything else with any of your journal entries before I get on autopilot?
No, I think they're all pretty standard.
Okay. All right, I'll
Larry,
start.
if you'd like to leave, I don't think there's anything else you can stay
You
with
throwing
us.
me out?
No, by
Yes.
no means. I actually kinda like you, but it's, you forgot to shave this morning and so did I.
Yeah,
It's
it's been a rough day. It's been a rough couple days.
That's all
Okay,
right.
well, I'm gonna start. The Board of Commissioners signed the satisfaction of mortgage for Linda S. Conley for the $1,680 mortgage as requested by Neighborhood Development Services. Documents reviewed by the Department of Budget and Finance with no exceptions noted.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners authorizes Commissioner Anthony J. Badalmente, President of the Board, to sign the grant agreement for the 2023 State of Ohio SLFRF, State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, Lead Safe Ohio Program, as presented by Neighborhood Development Services. Documents reviewed by the Department of Budget and Finance with no exceptions noted.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina? Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay, in accordance with section 305.30K of the Ohio Revised Code and this board's resolution 21-0396 and this board's resolution 21-0878, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the county administrator's approval too. I'll make a motion to direct the auditor's office to pay process the December 14th, 2023 bills, ACH payments, wires, journal vouchers, and then and nows as applicable contingent upon the verification of the reports as presented by the county auditor and reviewed by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to process the December 14th, 2023 budget amendments as reviewed and recommended by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to direct the auditor's office to pay process the December 21st, 2023 bills, ACH payments, wires, journal vouchers, and then and nows as applicable, contingent upon the verification of the reports as presented by the county auditor and reviewed by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to process the December 21st, 2023 budget amendments as reviewed and recommended by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
I'll
Yes.
make a motion to authorize the application to Ohio Department of Development Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Grant Program for Project RV-0 Chen Regional Sewer Improvements in Ravenna Township, Portage County, Ohio.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to authorize the Portage County Engineer to execute amendment to Local Public Agency Agreement 39889 with the Director of Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, for the project known as the replacement of Old Forge Bridge, County Road 82, bridge over Breakneck Creek in Ritztown Township, Portage County, Ohio.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to amend the resolution 23-0623, acceptance of 2 inherited IRA beneficiary donations for the benefit of the Office of the Portage County Dog Ward to include authorization to complete the paperwork, transfer ownership, liquidate both IRAs, and cash proceeds to be deposited in Fund 8109, Dog Warden donations, to include authorization for a secondary signer and a limited role of Assistant Secretary.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 0001 General Fund to Fund 1414 Child Support General Administration.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 001 General Fund to Fund 1410 Public Assistance Fund.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 7201 WCRRP General Administration to Fund 7233 WC Prospective Rating Plan 2024.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to authorize grant application in the amount of $40,000 to the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation for the Safety Intervention Grant Program for the Portage County Solid Waste Management District.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept the grant award in the amount of $1,617,198.44 from the Department of Youth Services Fiscal Year 2023 Juvenile Court Subsidy Grant, Reclaim Ohio, on behalf of the Portage County Juvenile Court.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to advance repayment from Fund 1412 JFS Help Me Grow allocation to Fund 0001 General Fund.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to declare the necessity to purchase 1 vehicle for the use by the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
On a roll now. I'll make a motion to declare the necessity to purchase 1 vehicle for the use by the the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
And I will gladly make a motion to approve the allocations, Ohio Department of Healthy Aging Grant, to be utilized by the Portage County agencies and local providers for senior-based programs.
Second.
Yes. Roll call.
In honor of my 2 colleagues. Yes.
Mike?
Yes. Y'all don't have to laugh at that.
Yes.
Okay. I will make a motion to declare the necessity of purchase 3 vehicles for use by the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shannon, good morning.
Good morning. Jackie.
Morning, Shannon.
Haven't seen you guys forever.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi.
Yeah, where you been hiding?
I'm that hole downstairs.
You got that escape door now and windows. That's kind of incredible.
Right. I have discussion items, if you guys don't mind if I do the discussion items, because I know Chris is here before I do my project update.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, mileage reimbursement rate changed from 0.6550 to 0.6700, so that's the new mileage reimbursement rate from the IRS. So I just need your guys' blessing on that to move forward with my
Blessed.
journal entry.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a water line feed from the Chestnut side at the admin building. We have 2 feeds at this building because it was a hospital. So if one side would go down, the other side would kick in. There's a Meridian side and a Chestnut side. The Meridian side is working properly. The Chestnut side just got shut down by the city because it was not working properly. It's a 3-inch line that was malfunctioning, and they didn't want any issues for it to burst or anything like
Why
that.
didn't we have 2 lines to begin with?
Because it was a hospital.
Hospital.
Oh, the hospital.
Must have.
Yeah. So the question is, and Dan, will you correct me if I'm wrong, 3-inch pipes they no longer use, they use 4-inch pipes now to run piping?
It's fairly standard.
Yeah, okay, I thought I was, because the city was telling me that. We would have to run a new 4-inch line to go around on the Chestnut side and from the street if we still want 2 feeds.
Are we required to have 2 feeds,
No.
or does it require?
We're not
code?
required to have 2 feeds.
Okay.
Even when talking to the city, I said, well, how much is it if we do decide to do it? Can you give me a ballpark? It's about $30,000
Oh my-
if we want to run a line from
And how
there.
many years has that pipe been down?
Their guesstimate is we have not used that pipe for 14 years.
I say
That's the city's.
we do away with it. If it's up to code and we're not required to have 2 because we're not
And-
a hospital.
And then when the treasurer's office and the auto title, I guess that was an addition at one time, there is a new line that goes into that area too. We are going to drain the fire suppression system just to double check to make sure that they should have tied it in at that line at that time when they added on. I just wanna make sure that we have fire suppression before I say, no, we're not gonna do it. But if we
Yeah.
do have the fire suppression, I don't think we should have another feed. If the water's down, the water's down, but that's
Yeah.
your guys'
So,
call for
so
sure.
you're gonna get checked at fire suppression system?
Yes, on the auto title and the
Oh.
treasures, just to double check, because the city doesn't have plans
Okay.
either, so they had to
So-
start digging.
So basically, if we're not required to have it,
We do have water to the building,
can do
so,
away with
Yeah.
the second line. But if we do need it, is that 30,000 in your budget?
I did not put that as a project expense, because it was just, part of what, I don't have it in my project expense for this year. I'm
Do
sure
you
we
have
could find, we
funds
do
in
have the
there
funds
that you
in there.
can find in your budget?
So before we go there, please, is, we don't need it, we're not required to have the other line.
Correct.
We've got another line in the treasurer's office, and
It's a separate line.
it's a separate
that
line.
feeds there.
And
Mhm.
that's what we're gonna find out to see if that feeds into our fire suppression system.
In that area only, yes.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is good with building.
We have water.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
been off,
But
nobody's,
if we're
it's
required
not-
to have the second line,
We're
we'll go
yeah.
down, cause I always like to have a plan B.
I will
funding.
find it in my budget if it needs to be, but I do not currently, that was not part of my
Cool.
plan,
Okay.
but I will find it if I have
But
to.
we'll have to find
I
it.
mean, it is what it
because
is, if
we're
you have to,
required,
yeah.
we need it. we
That's
need
only if the fire suppression system, but we're gonna do that. Claire's gonna work on that, next month, so
Okay.
we're gonna drain it.
Cool.
That's good.
Move on.
Okay. Electric and gas program. So we are part of the CCAO program for our natural gas and our electric. Currently, we are not under contract with CCAO. We are still utilizing it for the natural gas. We're not under contract with anybody currently.
Can we
And
have them go out to bid for us to check that's what we did, I think, the last time.
well, we can still. That's what they've already done. They've
already
already
did it?
have their bids out. So this is what I need to know from the commissioners. Well, I'll explain the electrical program. We are in until Chris. Tell me if I'm saying this right. If we need to let CCAO know by February 1st if we do not want to continue the electrical program with CCAO in 2025. Currently, we are with them through the rest of this year. But if we have to pull out, we have to pull out February 1st.
We have to declare we're pulling out.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that right?
That's right.
Did I get
A
that
year
right?
ahead?
Okay,
A year in advance?
a year in advance. That's what's in the contract.
Because they have to go out for bid.
Yeah, so my question to the board is do you want me to invite CCAO to come in to talk about their natural gas and their electric programs? Or NOPEC, or both? To discuss both?
Both.
Both. I would like
Both?
to hear from both.
Because then we can decide, but I'm gonna have to have it done like fairly quickly,
We'll
right?
get it
So
on the
hopefully we can
agenda,
get it
yeah.
Yeah.
soon.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, and then I have my project update. Thank you, I guess I did good.
That's good, you did good.
I was afraid I was gonna explain it correctly.
You'd have a sip of mine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome, Sarah.
You're welcome.
They know I can't function. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'll try to go fast. There's
You're
a lot
okay,
of
no,
red.
you're,
Yeah,
no.
you're fine.
I'm
you're
always
on-
chit-chatting.
You're actually, you're on time.
Okay, good.
You're fine.
Okay, the administration building, the auditor's renovation, we knew that was coming up this year. I did put out the RFQs for architectural services for several projects, so that we'll have them within the next 3 years for whatever we wanna do. We received 7 RFQs from different architect firms, so that was good. In that, I put in, various renovations if we ever come up within the next 3 years, so we don't have to keep getting RFQs.
Yep.
So I'm currently reviewing those. I should have, hopefully I'll have a decision made by Tuesday, because I know everybody wants to move quickly to know how much it's gonna cost. And with that being said, that's gonna go down the line here, because I would like to use the same architect for the same building, right? So if we're here, we don't wanna hire multiple architects,
Yeah.
right? And that also includes the Keltron system, because the Keltron system is not just this building, it's several buildings. And the Keltron system notifies the sheriff's department if there is an issue in our buildings with fire.
Security? That's right,
Fire, yeah.
I have a question for the, replacing the main hallway floor, first floor. That's from the lobby onto the treasurer's office?
Which one?
It's
Where-
number 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, yeah, I'll jump down to that. Can I jump down to that in a minute? I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry.
I thought that's where you
She's-
were.
yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
That's
all
all right.
over the
I'm
place.
I'm always all over the
Just
place.
like-
Okay, so auditor's office and the 7th floor will be the renovation along with the first floor. And I know it's kind of all over the place, but I'll just read
That's
through.
all right, you're good.
So the RFQs came in for the auditor's office and then the 7th floor for the architectural services. And then we'll jump to the replacement of the main hallway. The flooring is complete, but maintenance decided, because now we're painting the bathrooms and they look so amazing if you've been in the women's restroom. It used to
Yeah.
be purple and everything in there.
I haven't had an opportunity.
You should go in there.
We can hold it.
They're doing the men's restroom as well, and that one actually is still purple, but the walls, Bob Polly has been doing amazing in there. So now they've decided they wanna laminate the countertop to make everything look new. So that's our last
He
step
does a
in there.
great job.
They do great, and Sunny's doing the laminate and Rob and all of them, so they're all working well together. So it looks awesome. So it was so dated, and so it was bad. The Keltron system, that is what I was talking, we're currently reviewing the qualifications for that project, cause it'll be the same. However, when we go to bid this out, I believe the renovations will be separate from the Keltron system, cause you're not gonna have a contractor do the same as you would people that work with fire. And the building department, I wanted to bring you to your attention, I got an email from Joe this morning. His floor is leaking severely bad. He would like to get it done, fixed sooner than later.
Floor is leaking?
The floor, where they're having all that water coming in up through the floor
Okay.
that we don't know about. It's been going on for a while, and he said it's getting worse.
What are we doing with it? That we're good, they wanna,
That
they
was
wanna fix
part
it.
of, that was gonna be part of my renovations with the
Yeah.
architect. He wants it done sooner, but I don't know if I can't.
But we still don't,
We don't
we're
know
gonna
why.
get an architect in, we don't know what the problem is?
We don't know what the problem is. He thinks he has a good idea of what the problem is. I said if he has an idea of somebody that he knows, that he would like to look at it. Remember we dug out by the plants?
Right.
And that was not there.
Yeah,
That is not where it was
wasn't,
leaking.
yeah.
It's coming up through the floor somewhere. They believe there's some abandoned drain somewhere because they built over top of it. They just don't know.
Yeah, that used to be the lab. and
Yeah,
They don't have.
yeah. So would the plumber be the person they'd be calling?
Not
Figure this out.
necessarily. It just depends. We just don't know
See
where
if
the
we have
water
an X-ray
source is coming
vision?
from. I've had a plumber there, they don't know. I've had professional plumbers there. So he believes he can get down to it. My question to the board is do you guys want me to jump in and just go ahead and fix this right now? Or let it still leak until I can get it all in one compass bid? I mean, it's been leaking, so.
For how long?
As far as I've known, probably within the last 6 months it's been brought to my attention. And then we said, well, we'll put it as part, because he's doing his countertop entrance area and all of that, so we were gonna put it as part of the bid for that as well.
So my curiosity is if we don't know what's wrong, it's hard to bid on what you don't know.
Right.
So.
Well, they have whoever you hire as an architect firm usually has an engineering firm that can dive into it as well. They have an that they'll work with to see what the issue is, so that they can have somebody bid
Is
on
it
it.
sewage water coming out?
No.
No.
It's just water?
They know they gotta tear that floor up.
They're gonna tear the
away.
floor up, they're gonna
Yeah.
go, it's seeping into the carpet, but all of that's gonna get ripped out. So, and they said they have customers coming in with boots on and it's really wet. We just keep putting a carpet down until I can fix it. So, do you want me to dive into that all by itself?
I personally, if we've got a leak someplace that's screwing everything up, if we go about, you can't fix the floors and put new carpeting in until you figure out what the leak is, so that's.
And we can't
that's-
fix the floors till we replace the countertop either.
Right, so I would say, figure out what,
You want me to dive into it with somebody separate?
yes, now? I would believe, my thought, yeah.
I'm good with that.
Sabrina, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so they still have not pinpointed what the heck.
If they're
Well,
gonna
we
use
put a stop
jackhammers
on it,
inside, I
because we
wanna
had a
go. I wanna
contractor
help.
come in, we were spending money on what we thought it was, which is not what it was.
Yeah.
So
let's-
Joe thinks he might know what it is, so we can go in his direction as well.
Fix it before we do anything else, you wanna fix the floor.
Okay, so I'll make that separate, not part. Okay. Let's see, moving on to the annex building. The project will start in March, and that will be with the boilers in the lead, and they'll go from there. They can't do the waterproofing, they can't dig up around until it's springtime anyway because of the ground.
Yep.
And they're going to be, when they replace the boilers when they're replacing the boilers and such inside, they're gonna be making damage to the walls and stuff, and we're not gonna do the painting and the carpeting until they're completely done with those. The ADA is going to start within probably the next month for, making the doorways bigger. Okay? I did Will reached out to me for a timeline, and I did tell him the timeline, August, September, we hope to get you in there. That's my best guess scenario for right now.
Are we
So,
getting rid of the boilers?
we're taking out and putting in new, one,
Okay.
because it's so old, and it's not efficient, and it keeps going
But
offline.
that's one of those ones that, how difficult it is to replace.
It's just getting it.
Okay.
The problem is they've ordered it, it just takes a long time to get.
Yeah.
Boilers are really tough. HVAC,
So I guess
because
that's,
it's bigger.
yeah, so why wouldn't we put a modern system in besides that?
I'd have to run all new ductwork and tire the whole thing, cause it's,
It'd be
Okay,
it's be a
that's a
lot
good
of
enough
money.
answer. I'm good.
Okay, and then I'll move on to the EMA EOC. I don't know if Ryan has any more updates, mine's just small. The main roof is complete, the main roof and the framing is complete in the new
Yeah,
section.
it looks
So,
good.
we're actually meeting on site next week as well, so I'll get to see more. It's been kind of chilly. And the weather, I thought was gonna hold them up more, but I think they've been doing a great job, so.
They got a lot done.
They're going to
This
town.
time of
I
year.
know they are, yeah, and they're I really am, we're really happy with them. Going down to the Ravenna Courthouse, the inspection for the main elevator is today.
Praise the Lord.
So they're supposed to tell me, so they have to do load tests and everything on it. They've been doing their load tests, so now they have to meet with the state inspector, and they're usually with them all day today for that elevator. So they'll tell me by the end of today if I hope they, yay
We
or
got
nay.
the dang Lula fixed, and then the main
Yes,
one went
yep.
down.
Yeah, so the main one will be done, and then we'll move on to the jail, the inmate elevator
Okay.
in that area.
That have to be replaced.
Speaking
Oh, yeah, that was part of it. Yeah.
of the Ravenna Courthouse, what is the update, or do we have one, on the study that's being done regarding the courthouse for the spacing and stuff regarding Judge Gilletto's?
So we actually have a
Concerns.
meeting this afternoon,
Oh,
with Judge Gilletto,
At noon.
with, this person doing the study as well. Is he
That's,
doing
I got invited, so I'm going.
Right, yeah, everybody,
I believe
think
it's the
is
judge,
going,
yeah,
is
because they're leaving
involved.
today. I believe it's
yeah.
the people that are doing the study, they're leaving today, so this was our opportunity.
so we'll have an update next week. I was just curious.
I would say yes.
If you're or at least
At
give us
least
an
an
update
update of
on the
some sort.
meeting, so we
Yeah.
know where
What time's your
we're
meeting?
going.
Noon.
Noon.
Okay, the probate court, It's not going as fast as we like. We're still doing the punch list with this company. There's lots of little things that take time. But they did move in. They have been moved in for about 3 weeks now. It's just taking time getting them to fix little nicks and patching little things and the speaker system and everybody being on the same page. So data lines being dropped still. So it's taking some time. This one was a not on time one like I wanted it to be. But they're actually very patient with us, which we appreciate. And then Judge Gilletto's space for where the old vending machine room is, and there on the second floor. The start date is 1/22. Due to the vending machine not being able to be moved out of that area because of the elevator, we couldn't move the vending machine. So
Slide it down the steps.
I don't think they wanted to do that.
Yeah.
So they're gonna start anyway. He had a little bit of backup in the doors and everything that he was gonna be putting in anyway, and it shouldn't take too long. So, and then the record center, the inmates have started the work, the painting. They've started and will work over the winter for the painting, and it looks awesome. Have you guys been in there lately?
I have.
It looks so great.
It's
It's really coming. It's brightening up. They're making it mostly white because it was so dingy. The lighting, stuff like that.
It's amazing. I think the inmates are appreciative of it. I think they've been doing incredible work, and to be able to utilize those guys to do that,
Duntime's
that are
been
happy
great to work with.
They have been
Yeah.
terrific.
They have been. It's
I'm sure
really looking
Glenn's
great.
excited.
Oh, he's so excited. He
His
shows us
Taj
pictures
Mahal,
every day.
a new roof, and new paint.
New entrance, new roundabout.
Hey,
It
go
looks
back
like,
to Judge Gilletto's. How much space is that giving her?
I'll have to give you the square footage. It's just one
only
office.
room for one
One
office,
office.
one
Okay.
person.
It's just one office.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Riddle Block, I gotta go on the roof pretty soon. You wanna come?
I'll come with you.
You wanna come with me?
I want to
Okay.
go see if I can put some bounce on it.
The roof, the gutters, the skylight are complete for phase 1, and the skylight really looks amazing. I was really impressed with the sky. I know it's the little things,
That's,
but
yeah.
yeah, it looks really great. So now our second phase is this spring. The slate will start to begin on the other half, and then we should be done
And
with
they
that.
kind of have us scheduled already.
We're already scheduled.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do I have? Oh, and then the HVAC units for the same, the Riddle Block building. They can't start the AC units up until the spring.
There's 3 of them up there.
Oh, there's more than that.
No, is it?
I'd have to
Okay.
get a new count on. There's a lot.
Let me know when you're going up.
Okay, I'll let you know. Go up that straight ladder right up there.
Yes, ma'am. I can do that.
Okay.
It's not high enough to jump off.
Okay, and then I just have, then I just have my resolution.
And journal entry.
Yes, the journal entry was for the
Okay,
IRS.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners agrees to adopt the IRS 2024 standard mileage rate of 67 cents per mile reimbursement for 2024 as recommended by the Internal Service Director, Shannon Kautzman.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners agrees to reduce load limits 35% on all county and township roads in Portage County effective January 31st, 2024, or as soon thereafter as signs are posted.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners authorizes the use of force count and is the issuance of highway permits for the Portage County Engineer Highway Department for the year 2024.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Board of Commissioners declares obsolete and dispose of Portage County personal property located at the Portage County Tax Map Office.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement on behalf of the Portage County Jobs and Family Services and Portage County Sheriff.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
The Portage County Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement with Jobs and Family Services and the Portage County Prosecuting Attorney.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement with Jobs and Family Services and Northeast Ohio Adoption Initial Home Assessment Services for Children's Services.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement with Jobs and Family Services and Kim Stewart for Adoption Support Services for Children's Services.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement with Sedgwick Claims Management Services for Worker Compensation Services for 2024.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Board of Commissioners accepts the bids and awards a contract for project number MW-021-170 Manaway Emergency Water Interconnect in the Portage County Regional Sewer Water District, Shalersville Township.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners authorizes to enter into an agreement with United Service Group Water Solutions LLC for a multi-year asset maintenance program for wastewater treatment tanks located in Portage County for Portage County Water Resources Department.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Board of Commissioners agrees to adopt the revised rules and regulations covering the construction, maintenance, operation, use, and protection of sanitary sewer systems and the waterworks systems in the Portage County Regional Sewer District and Streetsboro Regional Sewer District number 4.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to set a proposal date for the invitation for bids for lawn services work for various Portage County Water Resources facilities.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to enter into an agreement with Willis Towers Watson Midwest, Inc. for provisions of health benefit plan consulting services for 2024.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony.
Yes. Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you so much.
Jobs and Family Services. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
That's why you were here, Dan?
I'm gonna come back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's on lower.
I'm just gonna come back.
How are you both this morning?
Good. How are you?
Good. Very well.
Perfect.
Excellent.
All right.
Perfect.
Looks like just the normal.
Yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion transfer from Fund 1415 Child Welfare Special Levy Fund to Fund 1410 Public Assistance Fund.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 1414 Child Support Administration Fund to 1410 Public Assistance Fund.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Yes. Great to see you
Excellent.
both.
Thank
Glad to have the
you.
speaking part today. Emergency Management, Mr. Ryan.
Can you stop talking long enough?
Morning.
Morning, sir.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Oh, the train keeps going down the tracks.
Okay.
Tammy, you want to come up with me up here? Okay. I have to bring out my phone as a demo for this. So a couple months ago, I came to you regarding the Centigix. Remember the badging program that would alert the entire facility, connected to Bluetooth, and then you would know exactly where the emergency is happening in the building. We looked at the cost of that solution. You asked me to go back and look out and see what else is out there. We did that. We looked at a couple different vendors. And then when we were renewing our WENS contract, so WENS is the system we use to load all our employees and send text messages to for closing buildings or something else happens, they actually had a new feature. And they're like, dude, would you like to see this feature? And it's an app-based feature that sends alerts to everybody's cell phone. So I just want to demonstrate how easy this would look like, or what this would look like and how easy it is. So if there was an emergency, no matter what floor it is on in this building, simply would click the app, type in your PIN to log in, and you would have push buttons. There will be a listing on here, but this is what our page would be. So if we're going to do an evacuation, a fire, a hazmat spill, a lockdown, active shooter, whatever it is, simply click it. Would you like to call this alert? Yes. And then bam, her phone will go off here in a second because she downloaded the app for me. Don't bill. Everybody's cell phone would go off. You acknowledge the alert, and then you could see the message of what's happening and what actions to take. So we would create the messages and things of that nature. So this is just a template.
That's mine's going off now.
Yeah. So then it would go to everybody's cell phone.
Oh, wow.
What that looks like, how the gap is getting people to download it to their personal devices. What would that look like? I'm sure we would have some muddy conversations knowing what that looks like in school districts. People not letting them download things to their personal devices. But this could be a solution. This is a lot more cost effective. So this annually added onto our current WENS agreement is $975.
Oh,
A month?
that's it.
A year.
A year.
So it's really just a program.
It's just a program. It's an addition to what we already do. It's already a vendor we work with. $975 a year. The thing is getting people onto the app, downloading the app. You have to remember your PIN. I use the same PIN for everything. record that. But, you know,
I saw
it's
that.
not same password, same
Pin,
pin
yeah.
for certain things.
Me
but,
too, for the last 25 years.
It's just real that quick. So is it as fast as clicking a badge and sending an alert? Is it as location services like the Bluetooth? We know what room it is exactly? No. But this is a nice step to at least increase that something's wrong and we need to take action inside the facility.
So when you just did that and it
Yes.
popped up, there looks like there's some kind of verbiage that was written there.
Mhm.
Could you say that 7th floor room?
Even better, so I'll actually do it again. So enter, so when that pops up, I won't do the pop-up again alert, but it'll be a red, you hit acknowledge,
Mhm.
it shows you what it is. So a lockdown has been called in your facility. So that message will be generic. Everybody in the app will be able to go into here and see the alert, you can click on it and literally take pictures and get a text message going back with everybody in there. So hey, the intruder is right here, and you can take a picture of that individual and load that picture in here. Or if you see something on a map, whatever the solution is, we can start getting a text message stream going. Hey, I'm trapped in room 112.
Mhm.
This is who I am. And you see the person and everything else. So you can literally
Oh,
start
really?
creating an entire chain of messages inside the app. And everybody will see them.
Does does the sheriff's office or fire department, they will be on this too, so
Yes.
they get those?
Yes, so we can get the sheriff's office, Ravenna Fire, Ravenna PD, all would have the app, and they'll get alert that something is happening in the facility. The difference between the two is they won't know exactly where it is. It would just say 6th floor, 5th floor, depending on how detailed it is. So if someone puts lockdown out, knowledge, I'm not attached to this building. If I'm available or Brett's available, we can go in there and say, where's the emergency at? Hey, I'm trapped in this room, whatever it is, fire on the 1st floor, whole host of different emergencies that you could have in this facility. So being relatively cost effective, I thought it was a nice intermediary of at least enhancing the communication amongst all the floors that are in this building. So I wanted to display that to you today. If you're interested, let me know, and then I can work with getting an agreement together and how we implement it and everything
I
else we
think
do
it's
for
a
WENS.
great tool and I'm for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I too.
Amen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Logistically, we'll talk, I'm sure, offline and figure out how do we implement this and we'll go from there. So, excellent. So I thought that was neat. It was very timely to get that email and say, hey, this, by the way, this is another source we have. And I was like, okay. And then
That's cool.
$975 a year for it.
What was
It's
the other
just-
one?
There was Centigix was the badge. There was another one I looked at called Raptor Technologies. I sent out a couple alerts to, not just emails, requesting a demo to a couple other vendors. Never heard back. And then this WENS one popped up here in the latter end of the year, and I looked at that one. I was really, since we already had a relationship, it was kind of natural
Yeah.
just to move forward. And it's easy to use. So,
Okay.
all right,
Yep.
perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Thank you for your assistance, Ms. Vienna.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Is Dan out there?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I'm sorry.
Wait, no, wrong Dan.
Wrong Dan.
Oh,
We
Wrong
got
Dan. I was gonna say-
Dan Blakely, then
Bad
Dan
Dan.
Morganti.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hi. How are you, Dan? Happy
Good.
New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody. So I just wanted to bring, a table to discuss a situation. There's an ODOT project that's been in progress for State Route 43
Uh-huh.
in Streetsboro.
I drive by it every day.
Yeah, it's
Or
kind of a
through
mess
it.
On
out there.
it, over it.
With that said, generally speaking, Portage County is not involved in this project. We were lucky enough that we did not have to relocate any of our water mains. Traditionally, with a ODOT project, if your utilities are in their way, we have to relocate them. With that said, Streetsboro did have some water mains that needed to be relocated. They decided, in lieu of relocating a 250-foot stretch, that they would abandon that stretch of water main. There are 3 customers, Streetsboro water customers, that are attached to their water main. They requested from us that they reconnect to our water main. We had that discussion earlier last year about, how that would proceed. And I think there's some concern now that we have tap fees or front footage fees that are associated with those 3 connections that were brought up from the mayor of Streetsboro as far as whether we charge them or, whether we don't charge them. And that was, the question that had been brought up.
And I did get a call from one of the residents from the mayor, and I'm sure one of the other commissioners may have also, but given the fact that it was Streetsboro paid for everything, we didn't really drop anything in it. I think you went up and located the lines and did some other things prior to. And I don't feel that it's, quote, their fault to end up having to pay for tap-in fees. That's just my opinion. There's 3 residents up there. Streetsboro's more than willing to pay for the inspections. But I don't think these people who live in there, I don't think it's their fault that something just came above and away we went. So I would like to make a recommendation that we charge them for the inspection.
I do want to clarify that we are not charging the customers. They're not our customers to charge. Our
Right.
intent was to charge the city of Streetsboro
Correct.
for those connections because,
At a tune of about $8,000.
7.
yeah,
So
I think it's
does it
high.
cost us anything?
Well, let's argue the sense.
So with the tie-ins for those 3 or 4 people at $7,000-8,000, is it, do we have to do the work, or is ODOT
No.
and everybody's doing the work, we don't have to do anything?
That is correct. The purpose of these fees is to offset the cost of the initial investment in the first place. So the idea is anytime somebody connects, I mean, there's a substantial cost when it comes to putting infrastructure in the ground. When somebody connects, you know, that's our way of recouping that money. So that's the process. You know, so again, you know, just, you know, bringing it to everybody's attention as to where we are
And why we charge those fees, because we've been asked numerous times to waive fee. I mean, we just had the fire department in Broomfield, we've had other structures, and it's always no, because if you do it for one, you're setting a precedence, and it's used to maintain the infrastructure, which, as we know, the money we've sank in with our ARPA funds, it's not cheap to do.
I think it's a different situation. I think we have to look at every one differently, like we started doing with the fires and different things like that. And I'm going to make the recommendation that we don't charge them other than inspection fees.
So I'm still at a loss.
Mhm.
So ODOT puts a new water line in.
Mhm.
We, 3 houses need our water line that's already there.
I would frame it that Streetsboro decided rather than relocating their water main,
Mhm.
they decided to abandon their water main and utilize our water main.
So for us, physical work, equipment, do we have to do anything?
There would be no work that we did other than the work that we've done prior, which was the location of the utilities. There will be some inspection where we have to make sure that, you know, that if they're going to connect to our main, that, you know, that that's overseen to make sure that it's done properly. There are inspection fees involved as well.
Who's gonna do the work?
Generally speaking, we do have engineering technicians who will go out to the job site and oversee any projects that are done involving our
Who's gonna do the
infrastructure.
work?
Who's physically
Who's physically
gonna do the
gonna put the water mains in?
work? That I'm not entirely
Okay.
sure. Yeah, that's not.
Just bring
It's
it.
not a project that I've been involved in
Okay.
because
So we-
Streetsboro is completely in charge.
Take
of this
care of it.
project,
So
yeah.
we're not gonna utilize your people. We're not gonna be digging any holes. We're just gonna have somebody that is from us oversee it,
We will be present when those connections are made.
and that's all we're gonna do is oversight.
Right, that's correct.
And what does that oversight ballpark cost?
I think right now the inspection fees that we charge are at $250 per connection, so I think there's
About $1,000.
yeah, it's somewhere around $750 for that.
So Dan, you had sent us an email
Mhm.
regarding this, as far as there's no real true benefit to us, other than we get 3 new customers. It's more of a benefit.
They were customers.
We don't receive any customers. They will continue to be Streetsboro's customers. So really, it's a courtesy on our end to allow them to connect to our water main. Streetsboro has their own infrastructure, they have their own, traditionally their
But they
customers.
don't wanna spend the money to bring the to service because of that ODOT project, right?
I think there is
The state
hesitancy
project?
to pay that. Yeah, ODOT was the one that forced this project through, so now, everybody, all the utilities are on the hook to relocate.
So ODOT forced this project that has caused 3 of Streetsboro's water customers or sewer customers to be put on our system because Streetsboro does not want to extend their main in order to service those 3 though, right?
That would be correct, yes.
So who is really benefiting from this project?
It definitely would be a benefit to Streetsboro. Not only is it a benefit to them because they don't have to spend the money to extend their water main that 250 feet, it also benefits them in that their water line came to a dead end and there was no hydrant at the end of it. So generally speaking, when you have long stretches of water main where customers are connected to, that water will sit there and not move, so the water quality goes down dramatically. And traditionally, you would deal with that by maybe flushing a hydrant to keep fresh water coming through that stretch of water main. There was no hydrant there, so their water quality was probably not the greatest.
Oh. So how much would it have cost if Streetsboro did opt to service them?
That's a good question. My guess it would have been $25,000 to $30,000 to extend that water main down the road.
But by
relocate.
doing it through us, it's only $7,000, and it's
Yes.
a tap-in fee. So why is Streetsboro not paying the tap-in fee for their customers if they are going to be the ones that are truly benefiting from it?
I mean, that would be a decision on, I think, the mayor and.
Well, yeah, of course the
Well,
mayor.
that's what the letter that I received was, that the city was going to take that on. That's why they came to us and asked.
Is it
Was it
cost
take
enough?
the $7,000?
Yeah, he didn't want the residents to have to pay that. He didn't think it was right.
Well, I'm thinking if he saved that kind of money, Streetsboro's the one that's gonna benefit from it, along, as far as the money going for the service, correct? I mean, they're-
Yeah, absolutely, and the water quality. I mean, our water main is not a dead end, so it's a transmission main, so their water quality will go up tremendously.
But in
by
order
attaching
for
to
us
our
to
water main.
maintain our system and have the quality of water that we have, that's what we pay with the tap-in fees.
Is it gonna cost us anything besides the tap-in fee?
I mean, I think there was an initial cost for our perspective, from engineering. What that cost was, I don't know. And, I would have to look back and see what those costs were. But I mean, it was an ODOT project.
Very
and-
minimal.
And we still had to look into it and make sure that we had no conflicts on our end with sewer and
Yeah.
water. So there was a cost even regardless whether or not Streetsboro was associated. So kind of splitting up those costs would be difficult.
Difficult. So
Yeah.
ODOT made us all do that check,
Mhm.
and you have costs.
Yep.
Yeah, is that nice?
It's,
Wow.
that's a government thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would be, forgive it, just give them the opportunity to utilize our water.
Shall I create maybe a resolution then for next week for you to
To bring those 3 people on?
bring those, or at least to vote on and.
That'd be my recommendation.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
absolutely.
See you
Thanks.
next week.
Thank you.
Dan. Two.
Dan
Good
number
morning, sir.
2.
And I must apologize that we were at that event, and you're standing behind me, and my brain didn't register.
Oh, yeah,
But
the
I know
Habitat
you-
event?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
No problem.
But I felt pretty silly personally, but.
No
fine.
problem.
What you got for us, sir?
So I have for you, for your consideration, an employment agreement. This details the process where land bank employees would become county employees for administrative and payroll purposes. So for us, that means it's 1.5 people, myself, and administrative assistant position that's currently not filled, but will be filled soon, hopefully. So we've had a similar agreement in place since 2019 with Family and Community Services. So from our standpoint, I think this would give us some stability long-term for our operations. there would really kind of be no change day to day. Our directives and policies would still come from the land bank board, but from the county's perspective, I think this would be a cost neutral situation. The land bank would be reimbursing all the associated costs with this. The land bank board has approved and is supportive of this model. It is also the most common model among land banks in the state for staffing.
And plus, we passed a resolution, not this board, but way back when, that we declared that the land bank was a government, a Portage County agency. So we do very similar situation, or actually the same thing with Portage County Regional Planning. There's no additional cost to us because actually land bank will pay all the benefits, reimburse the county for like the payroll, the benefits, even that the employer match does not come from the county. So it virtually cost us nothing additional to bring 1.5 people on.
What's the benefit for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I would say just housing the position, it's a more stable spot for our staff to be part of the county. We've, been employees of Family and Community Services under a similar agreement since 2019. Their recent merger was one of the things that kind of triggered our thought to maybe look at other models. So, again, I think just the long-term stability of the organization and our staff would be the benefit for us.
Who employs you now?
Family and Community Services, yeah, it
It's not a
is
bid
our
season.
employer, but they lease us back to the land bank board, who gives us our day-to-day directives and policies to
It's kind of
implement.
weird, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's a similar agreement to this.
Okay.
And there are a few other land banks that use a similar model than we currently have, but really what's proposed here is that,
They are under the county.
So you'd be under the county under JFS.
No, you would just,
it would be an agreement with the commissioners.
Yes.
Yeah.
His
Versus
own
what you have
entity,
now.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Versus what we have
he
now.
answers
Okay.
to the board.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm good.
Alright.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Alright, I'll make a motion to authorize Portage County Board of Commissioners to enter into an employment agreement with the Portage County Land Reutilization Corporation.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes. Thanks for coming in, Dan.
Thank
There
you.
you are.
Appreciate it.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks.
Okay, is there any public comment?
Yes, I believe there is.
Okay, so
We have 5 minutes
4.5, yeah.
though. Yeah, 4.5.
Oh, I've got something if you.
Yeah, we
public
can
input.
have them
What,
come up.
yeah, we can do that now?
Yeah.
All right,
You ready?
come on up.
Come on in.
Did you sign in, sir?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. And if you could come up and tell us who you are and tell us what your subject is, and
Yeah, I'm Gary Kapusta.
you can sit or stand, whichever you'd prefer.
Yeah, I better stand for a while.
Okay, all right.
I have a concern that, I don't know if you're aware of this, but behind Parda, they want to put solar panels in. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I saw that, so
Got your
is that,
email. I left
yep,
you a
yeah.
message.
Oh, I have an old flip phone. Sometimes I don't get messages for a couple days.
I have the new
Okay.
ones and sometimes I don't get
Yeah.
it. So the question is that, because you said Akron, is that behind Parda, Akron?
It's behind Parda's
Right,
building.
right.
It's the old Battaglia
Right,
farm
right.
section of
Yep,
theirs.
Yep,
They want to put that in there, and I just took over Nick's property farming it.
okay.
Okay, and it's such a beautiful strip of land. All those great walnut trees are there. They're just clear cut everything back there.
Did they
Now-
already?
No,
Okay.
but I just wondered if we're looking as the county in a whole to stop, these
In what
panels.
city or
Mr.
township is that?
I think it's Franklin.
Franklin.
Or,
Franklin.
And I can
Got it.
tell you, we received a letter from Franklin. They want no restrictions for that. They welcome them.
And what we've done as a board, the state of Ohio said, hey, counties, your board of commissioners has authority to do that with the townships. What we did, is we said, townships, you tell us what you want to do. And Franklin township is the only one that said, we don't want any restrictions at
No,
all.
we have other ones.
because behind that, next to it, where the football field is.
Yep, absolutely.
I farm that big field there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a wetland back there, and then it adjoins that property on
Yeah.
the backside. And Nick's brokenhearted about
I'll
it.
bet.
And first time I got to do that was last year. It's such a beautiful strip of land. It'd be a shame to take that away.
Yeah. The authority lies with Franklin Township.
So,
We have no control.
Their recommendation, well, we have
Oh.
control of
We
it,
do,
but we
but
take the recommendation
Nation of
from the
that. We gave,
local.
we gave
government.
all the local governments the
Okay.
ability to make a decision.
yeah, because it seems a shame. I mean, we've lost so much farmland to housing and stuff, and it's
Have you
getting-
talked to the board of Franklin Township's board?
No,
Yeah.
This is my first time
okay.
coming, you know,
Absolutely.
Because
forward.
really, you know what, Mr. Camusa, I would start there. Are you related to Kelly?
No, I'm a different one.
Different one, okay, because Kelly Camusa is one of their trustees.
Really?
I would go to
I
one
used to
of
get
their
her mail all the
meetings.
time.
Okay, I would go to one of their meetings because they are the one that sent us a letter saying
Oh.
that they do not want any restrictions. There's no part of Franklin that they want prohibit that the wind or solar farms go to. So that's where you would start at.
Because they want to buy the additional part of Nick's, and he told them to get lost, you know.
Yeah.
They want to take that whole strip on
Who owns that?
State of Ohio, because that was to be the super highway 261 50 years ago, where they're going to make the turnaround.
Okay, yeah.
That's what that parcel is.
Oh, really?
right
Okay.
there.
Yeah, I would agree with the advice that Commissioner Bennett has, that start there where the authority
Okay.
lies.
Because it's, I don't know, it's a shame. I mean, we're just losing land right and left, and there's not that many of us left to farm
Yeah,
anymore, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, I would
And
agree.
I hate to see it go away,
Yeah.
but that's such a beautiful parcel. I hate to see all those trees be cut down. Some of the neighbors, I stopped when I was done with hay, and I went and knocked on their doors, and they said, well, we heard about it, but we never attended a meeting.
Right.
So then I go, well, you know what? I always love this, people say this. They come home from work and, you cut all my trees down. Well, they weren't your trees.
Correct.
But for 30 years, you were used to seeing that wood.
Correct.
I said, one day your guys are gonna come home and that's gonna be nothing.
Yeah.
And then the other guy was worried about glare. So he complained about that down there, but,
Yeah.
I just hate to.
I completely understand, but yeah, I would find out when.
Of all the townships, that's weird. I mean, to me.
Well, no,
That's what
there's another one. I live in Ritztown, and my trustees voted the same way. There's other ones.
What, Richtown voted for it?
Yep,
Oh,
they
God, that's
they
where I
sent us a
am.
letter where they do not want to pose any restrictions on any area of Ritztown regarding the large wind and solar farms.
Wow. Because I think that's just a waste, because after 20 years, if those panels deteriorate, it's hazardous waste. And it's just a big chunk of land.
And you don't know what those chemicals are, because they say it eventually rusts, and the chemicals and those things.
Well, I watch a lot of farm programs in Iowa. They finally they banned them all. They said that's it. You know, when you have all that open farmland like they do, they just don't want them. They
Number one,
said
it's not aesthetically pleasing.
not
if
just
you
that.
live next
They
door
they
to
mentioned
it.
something like you just said. They're worried about chemicals. They're worried about stuff happening. Then they go, oh, you can plant in between the rows of there. What are you going to put in there? And then how do you know those trees or shrubs or food is not contaminated?
And the other thing is if you do allow them on your land, you've got to make sure you got a provision in there that they're responsible to remove those panels, because you can't just pull them to the curb because of the reasons we stated.
Well, my understanding is from Nick is that they were going to be doing this several years back, and every year nothing's done. Well, they told us that we had to take all the hay off and get out of there by the end of October, and they were going to start. Then all of a sudden we found out that they can't get the panels and they can't get the equipment. So I don't know if it's held up again, but no, I just kind of wondered about that. But maybe I'll get a hold of Nick and we'll go to Franklin and we'll see
Absolutely.
what's going on.
Yes, sir.
I hope we can do something. And then Ritztown, I guess I need to go one of their meetings since I
Yeah.
live there too, and just tell them,
Thank you for coming in.
All right,
today.
Mr.
Expressing your
Kapuska, thank you.
concern.
Sorry you didn't go with my
Thanks, sir.
message.
Alrighty.
All right, any more public comment?
No, Commissioner Bennett, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that, I will go
Miscellaneous, ma'am.
ahead and do miscellaneous. Oh my gosh, look at this one.
You only got 15.
In accordance with sections 2303.201, 3113.34, 3113.35, and 3113.37, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge submission of the 2023 Ohio County Commissioners Annual Reporting Form to the Ohio Attorney General's Office documenting marriage license, divorce, dissolution, and annulment fees collected and distributed to domestic violence shelters.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners signed the January 5th, 2024 correspondence to Tiffany Miller releasing and terminating the road bond for the special hauling issued by the Westfield Insurance Company under permit SH23-006 bond 314036G, and the amount of $210,000 is being released and returned at their request as recommended by the County Engineer's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the kennel disposition report and intake report for December 25th, 2023 through December 31st, 2023, as presented by the Chief Dog Warden.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the kennel disposition report and intake report for January 1st through January 7th, as presented by the Chief Dog Warden.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the Portage County Investment Reconciliation for the month of November 23rd, received on December 14th, as presented by the County Auditor and County Treasurer.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
In accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, Section 325.07, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the Portage County Sheriff's Transporting Report for November 2023, as presented by the Portage County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Yes.
In accordance with Ohio Revised Code, Section 321.261, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge the receipt of 2023 DTAC report as presented by the Portage County Treasurer.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the December 18th, 2023 Certificate of County Auditor that the total annual appropriation from each fund do not exceed the amended official estimate of resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2023, as presented by the Portage County Auditor's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Board of Commissioners acknowledge acknowledgement of receipt of the December 19th, 2023 Certificate of County Auditor that the total appropriations from each fund do not exceed the official estimate of resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2024, as presented by the County Auditor's Office.
It does exceed.
Oh, does it say does? Oh, do exceed.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the December 22nd, 2023 Certificate of the County Auditor that the total annual appropriations from each fund do not exceed the amended official estimate of resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2023, as presented by the Portage County Auditor's Office. Is that supposed to be 24?
No, we
No.
checked it.
Okay. Okay.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Okay. The Board of Commissioners acknowledges receipt of the December 31st, 2023 correspondence from the Portage County Recorder, Lori Kelsey, regarding the recorder's fees to be charged for the filing of zoning resolutions and amendments in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, Section 317.32.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners approved the December 2023 adjustments for the Portage County Water, Portage County Sewer, and Streetsboro Sewer billing accounts as reported on the adjustment report submitted and reviewed by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners received the December 14th, 2023 correspondence from the Portage County Sheriff's Office, including the monthly record of proceedings and transactions for November 2023, in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, Section 325.07.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the November 17th, 2023 letter of resignation from Susan D. Wren, from her position on NEFCO Board.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners approves leadership training to be conducted by Kent State Training Solutions for the Board of Commissioners directors and human resources staff. The leadership training will take place on January 23rd, 2023. I think that's 2024. 2024 for one 8-hour session for a total of $4,095. The Board of Commissioners also approves the reimbursement expense for providing lunch for the training.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept the donations to the office of the Portage County Dog Board.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Is there anything else coming before the board today morning? Yes, sir.
Where do we stand on the sewer project at the Chino allotment?
On hold.
Well, yeah,
They're working on
they're
still.
getting the planning, the design, the first time did not come back. That was gonna be it was cost prohibited for the so we have to go through and we're having it redesigned to see, and we're applying for more and more grants to help offset.
Do we have a certain date that has to be done?
No. No, as long as we're working on it, the EPA will work with us.
Okay.
Nothing else before the board?
No, would the board like to remind the public that we were meeting on Tuesday?
We will be, our meeting for
Next
next week will be on the 16th of January and not the 18th. On Tuesday, not Thursday.
Yeah.
Cool. Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
roll call. Sabrina.
Mike,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Beautiful day.
Beautiful day.
Yes.
Now, Mike, you got an excess of 230